views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most inspired visionaries on the planet in lighthearted, lively dialogue. Join us as we explore the expansive nature of reality in a down-to-earth way, offering you insights and tools, empowering you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Now, here's your host, Christine Upchurch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Christine Upchurch Show, where we have stellar conversations to illuminate your journey. I'm speaking to you today on KKNW AM 1150 here in the Seattle area. You might be listening on WBLQ in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New York, or on one of the 35 stations on Australia, or anywhere around the world on Transformation Talk Radio, or, of course, in the archives on ChristineUpchurch.com. But wherever you're listening from today, you're going to be so glad you joined us. We are going to be talking about something seriously cool. Yeah, that's my grown-up way of saying I'm very, very excited. But before we get into what it's about and welcome our guest, I'd like to say hello to my better half here in the studio who allows you to hear these great conversations, Mr. Benny Mathers. Hi, Benny.
Good. That's totally cool, Christine. Right on, right on. Is that where you're going with?
Yeah, kind of.
All right. That's hip.
Well, it's cutting edge is what it is.
Oh, that's
and that
like
always
that
gets me excited.
Okay.
I love cutting edge, and one of the taglines of the show is the cutting edge of the new mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And mainstream is changing. What it once was okay. There wasn't alternative healing. There, acupuncturists and chiropractors that were thought to be quacks. People trusted all authority figures, including their government, about everything. I mean, things are changing.
It's amazing, and we've been doing it for quite a while, too.
I know.
So we changed way early.
We did.
Because we're cool.
And a lot of our listeners are, too.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're going to be so glad that you're listening today, because what we're going to be talking about is something you probably have not heard about before. And what I'm talking about is healing yourself with the power of biophotonic light. Now, we're talking about eliminating pain, healing cancer, healing Alzheimer's and other diseases, treating anxiety, depression, healing wounds, bones, acne, eczema, MRSA even, reducing wrinkles, I like this one, boosting muscle strength, and so much more. And the person I'm talking about who's got this wisdom and got the nuts and bolts of the science behind it is Leanne Vanier. She's an internationally award-winning artist. She's an engineer. Interesting combination. Just love that. She's a visionary entrepreneur. She's a former submarine designer. And she's an expert in the science behind the healing effects of color and light. And she's been on the show before and has talked about both of those things. And today she's going to be talking about something very new that we can apply in our daily lives if we so choose. She is an authority on the benefits of photobiomodulation, which is basically biophotonic light therapy, which we're going to be hearing all about. And she also talks a lot about getting into the flow state and healing. She's been featured on NBC TV, nationally syndicated radio, global podcasts, international health magazines, and she's regularly sought out to speak at major medical centers, Mensa, and she's at the leading brain and neuroscience conferences. And she just got back from the Bulletproof conference as well. I'd like to welcome our guest today, Leanne Vanier. Hey, Leanne.
Hey, Christine. I always love your long, wonderful intros.
Well, I think it helps to give people a framework about who the guest is because, it's... You could be just somebody who channeled in this information, or you could be somebody who brought it through in science, or you could be somebody who sort of put these two pieces together. And hearing about your background sort of piques people's interest and say, oh, she's got the science. Oh, she's also got the healing. And, she's into things like flow and art, and you're an amazing artist. People look at your website and look at your Facebook page. You'll see what amazing art you create.
Thank you.
But the thing is, like, how did you ever get involved in this, in sort of light therapy?
The light therapy part. Well, it kind of all came about, it started with my studies of all these alternative healing modalities while I was living in Italy for 7 years, and I got really heavily into, ancient Chinese healing, five elements, the chakra system, all of these what would be classified as esoteric or ancient healing modalities that revolve around color, the use of color. So when I started painting and started having conversations about this, based on what people would be really drawn to, they'd be drawn to particular colors in my paintings. So that kind of catalyzed these conversations about how we are actually drawn to colors that we crave. And we crave colors just like we crave nutrients and vitamins. So those conversations then turned into people asking me to teach about this stuff. And since sunlight is such an integral part of this, and what I was realizing through my own discovery and through my own, studies and research about sunlight and the healing effects of sunlight contains all of these colors of different wavelengths of light. So we actually evolved to live and thrive under sunlight, which has all of these colors in it. So that basically is where all of the actual healing aspects of wavelengths of light came in, and then I started bringing in all the hardcore scientific and medical research, and there is a ton of it that validates that we actually do take in, absorb, and utilize these different wavelengths of colored light for all sorts of cellular processes and for healing cells. We'll talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure, as you ask me more questions. But anyway, so that's basically where it all started.
Right. And, let's just talk about sunlight. Sunlight in this day and age has gotten a bad rap. What is it about sunlight that is healing?
Okay, well, pretty much everything about sunlight is healing. There are parts of it that if you get it in excess can be damaging, like the UVA and UVB. But that has been blown so out of proportion as far as, causing cancer and all kinds of other things. But the reality is that when you get sunlight, you avoid getting cancer. It's been linked with avoiding or healing from cancer for pretty much every type of cancer and every type of disease. You're much more likely to get any kind of illness, disease, or die from any cause if you avoid sunlight.
Wow. So does that include if you put suntan lotion on to sun protection?
No, suntan lotion is not a good thing if you haven't had your minimum, what I like to call your minimum daily requirement of sunshine.
Right.
Because you need to get it directly on your skin. And if you put sunshine or sunblock on your skin, you're not getting most of those wavelengths are not going to be able to penetrate through that sunblock. Not to mention the fact that most sunscreens on the market are highly toxic and become carcinogenic when you're exposed to sunshine, which is very ironic.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So what are the different spectrums of light?
Okay, so the electromagnetic spectrum is basically all the energies that we have around us. So this includes radio waves, microwaves, all kinds of things like that. But what comes from sunlight and what reaches the earth that we are exposed to when we go out under sunshine are the wavelengths of UV, so that means ultraviolet. Then we've got, let me go in the other direction. So we've got far infrared, mid-infrared, and near-infrared, all the infrared spectrum. Then we've got red. So infrared literally means under red, below red. So you've got infrared, then you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And then you've got ultraviolet, which is the UVA, UVB, and a little bit of UVC. So when we go out under sunlight, we get all of those colors, all those colored wavelengths, as well as the infrared and the UV. And most people don't think of going out under sunlight and being bathed in color. But when you see a rainbow in the sky, that's pretty much the only time that you will see all the 7 spectral colors as they split up through the water droplets that are left in the atmosphere. But otherwise, in the morning and at dusk, you see red, orange, and yellow are the predominant colors. And that's because those are the longer wavelengths, and they will come through the atmosphere in a higher concentration than the blue and green that will kind of get scattered off.
So when we're looking at a rainbow, we're actually looking at the different colors within sunlight?
Yes. So when you see a rainbow, again, you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Those are the colors that you're getting exposed to every time you go under sunlight. But when you combine all of those colors together, it forms white light. So most people think of going under sunlight as being under white light, and you are getting all of those colors that are combining together to form white light. It's the same technology that's used in all our LED screens. When you combine RGB, red, green, and blue diodes together, the light from those, they form white light when you blend them all together.
Okay, so you're talking about LEDs. What are LEDs?
Okay, so LEDs, LED stands for light-emitting diode. It's the newest type of way to give us light, in artificial light, in our homes and for healing purposes. So it's just, if you think of, incandescence, the old, inefficient types of light bulbs that Edison designed way back when.
Right, the incandescent, yeah.
Yeah, so those waste a huge amount of energy. They're really, really bad for the planet. Then you've got fluorescent, which use a different kind of technology. They're all, in fluorescence and LEDs are using chemicals to emit light. I'm not going to get into a lot of the scientific detail about that because most people don't really care. Right. But basically, fluorescence you can't use for healing purposes either because they tend to have these really strong, spiky bits of light, and anyway, they're not good for healing purposes.
Yeah, they flicker on a very fast scale, but you can sort of sense it in some level. I do not like the fluorescent lights at all.
Yeah, so LEDs you can take and you can blend them together. You can take different wavelengths and you can, like if you want to use LEDs in your home, you can now get adjustable LEDs, which you can have more blue light during the day, so it's a whitish blue light, and then in the evening you can switch over to a reddish white light.
Why would you do that?
Okay, well, because blue light is a really good thing during the day because we evolved to live and thrive again under sunlight. And when we go out under sunshine and we see the blue sky, and we're getting a much higher percentage of blue light when the sun is high in the sky. Remember how I said in the morning the red, orange, and yellow come through, and at dusk, but in the middle of the day those blue wavelengths come through. So we see blue in the sky. And we evolved when we were, back in caveman day, when you went out and you saw blue light, your body said, oh, it's the middle of the day. If I want to survive and not get eaten by predators, I need to be wide awake. So what it does is it tells your body to shut off melatonin production, which is melatonin is a very important hormone in the body, in addition to one of the things that helps us to get sleepy at night.
Okay.
So when you see blue light during the day, that's good. It tells your body shut off melatonin production, be wide awake.
All right. We have to go to a quick break, but when we return, I'm going to be asking Leanne to share with our listeners about this biophotonic light therapy and what it is and how accessible it is for us as individuals and what some of the effects can be. More with Leanne Beignet in just a few moments.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire.
What is a brilliant culture? And how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you design a culture that is authentic, innovative, and successful. Learn how to create change with Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence, and Claudette Rowley. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit ClaudetteRowley.com.
Are you sick of feeling overworked with no motivation? Take a break from the daily grind. Life coach Nicole Eisler is here to provide a healing journey of optimism. Passionate and caring, Nicole is no ordinary soul. Her dedication to helping everyone has no limit. Witness the power of positivity. Tune in every first and third Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific for Positivity Party Radio with Nicole Eisler on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit BigDreamAwakening.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
This is Peggy Snow, practitioner at Stellar Reflections with a Stellar Reflections Minute. So many people these days are trying to find ways to relieve their stress. What happens to our breathing when we're feeling overwhelm and stress? When we tune in, we realize that we're either holding our breath or taking very shallow breath to signal the body that all is well, which most of the time it is. Sometimes all that is needed is a nice, deep breath to break the cycle. First, exhale to get all the stale air out by engaging the abdominal muscles and blowing gently. Next, take a nice full breath in, feeling it fill your body all the way down to your hips. Release fully and enjoy the freedom of movement. Notice how your body feels. Do you feel refreshed? Calmness is only a breath away. This has been a Stellar Reflections Minute. For more information about what we offer at Stellar Reflections, visit us at stellarreflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
Called the Oprah of Radio by her listeners, award-winning host Dr. Pat Baccili is blowing the doors off of traditional talk radio. Get ready for an energizing delivery and powerful interviews with leaders in the field of human potential. Dr. Pat's fresh, new perspective on living life full out has catapulted her show to the top of talk radio. Tune in and Dr. Pat will help you thrive instead of merely survive. Visit thedrpatshow.com. That's THEDRPatshow.com for listening times in your area.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
Welcome back to the Christine Upchurch Show here on KKNW and Transformation Talk Radio. I'm having a conversation with one of my all-time favorite guests, Leanne Vanier. And Leanne, before the break, we were talking about the blue light during the day and the red-orange lights, towards the end of the day and at night, towards nighttime. I've been hearing things about blue light being bad. Is it something that we should avoid? Like on our computers and stuff?
The blue light has now been getting a really lot of bad press, and it should for nighttime viewing of blue light. Because, again, when I talked about how we evolved to live and thrive under daylight, when we see blue light during the day, that's actually a really good thing, and it sets our circadian rhythm, our daily rhythm. We need to see blue light during the day. But you do not want to see blue light at night because that, again, shuts off melatonin production in your body, and it tells your body that it's the middle of the day, be wide awake. So that's why when people are using their tablets or computers or smartphones late at night, and tablets and smartphones are particularly bad because you've got them right in front of your face, so you're getting a lot of blue light. And your body thinks it's the middle of the day because it thinks it's seeing blue sky. So it says, okay, shut off melatonin production. Melatonin is what helps you get sleepy. So if you are not getting sleepy, you can't go to sleep. And that's why a lot of people end up having insomnia when they're using electronic devices at night. The other problem, though, is that melatonin is a really, really, really important hormone and antioxidant in the body.
It's an antioxidant too, huh?
It is, yeah. So it's actually been shown that if you boost melatonin levels when somebody has cancer, you can artificially boost it. It will, beat the cancer back in its tracks. It will stop the growth of the cancer by having high enough melatonin levels. So by not getting melatonin production at night and by taking some kind of artificial thing to help you sleep, with all these drugs that are on the market that are sleeping pills, those are you're actually, increasing dramatically your risk for getting cancer because your body doesn't have the proper levels of melatonin production, which, again, isn't just about getting you sleepy. It's about being an important antioxidant. It's a hugely important hormone in the body.
Okay.
So it's very important. And, again, if you do get blue light during the day like we're supposed to, your melatonin levels, and this is another research study that was just done in the last couple of years, your melatonin levels at night go up dramatically. So you, again, if you get blue light during the day, you get sleepy as soon as and I've done this experiment several times personally, where I will get blue light during the day, or I'll avoid it, and I will find myself getting not sleepy at night, and I'll push myself past my normal bedtime, and then I get my whole sleep phase gets out of whack. And then I will focus on getting blue light during the day, and immediately that night I start getting, I can't push myself past my bed because I'm so exhausted I can't keep my eyes open.
Leanne, I think there are a lot of parents who know that based on experience, because when they have young children and the children, when our children are outside for a number of hours during the day, and it's not just the exercise because they can run around the house, but when they're outside for many, many hours, they crash, and they crash hard early in the evening.
Right. Well, I've actually written about that in some of the articles that I've written where it's like, people used to say, when I was growing up, oh, get fresh air, it makes you sleepy. And now I know it's like, it's not that just fresh air, it's because you're getting sunshine. You're getting blue light during the day. And then and again, like you said, it's not just the exercise, because you can send your kid and go play indoors in a gym all day. He's not going to be sleepy at night because he's not getting the daylight and the sunlight and the circadian rhythm setting wavelengths of light that he needs. So if light can be healing, like which spectrum is the most healing for something like cancer? Okay, well, now all the latest research, I don't know if you've heard, but all the latest research studies that are being done for beating cancer involve not killing it with toxic drugs and things like that. It's about boosting the body's own immune system. Right. So the immune system gets naturally boosted when the mitochondria in the cells, and the mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cells. They're important. They're really important. That's what creates ATP, adenosine triphosphate, in all the cells. They basically create energy for the cells. So if the mitochondria aren't working properly, they're not going to be, healing themselves the way that they should. They're not going to be regenerating themselves. They're not going to have a strong immune response themselves. So cancer can very easily come in and invade a body where the mitochondria and where the cells are unhealthy. And one thing that most people don't know is that every single person on the planet is getting cancer all the time. We constantly are getting cancer cells that pop up in our bodies, and a healthy immune system will kill them before they ever turn into a tumor. Right. So most people don't know. It's like we've all had cancer. I mean, we probably have some cancer cells in our body right now, but if you have a healthy immune system, they get killed very quickly. They can't proliferate and become a tumor. So when you are able to increase and boost the immune response and the powerhouses of the cells, the mitochondria, then you won't be susceptible to those cancer cells taking over.
That's fascinating. So are there devices that people can use? Do you have to go into a special kind of laboratory or a medical center in order to do some sort of light therapy?
Well, there have been light therapy products on the market for several years now, specifically LED lights. There have been laser light therapy products on the market for even longer, and I always tell people, don't ever buy a laser light therapy device because you can really, really harm yourself, and they're not nearly as effective. All the research is now showing that the laser devices are not nearly as effective as LEDs. And the reason for that is that LEDs are similar to sunlight because it's called non-coherent light, where the wavelengths aren't all in sync with each other. So we evolved to live and thrive under sunlight. LEDs are the closest thing that you can get in artificial light to sunlight. But lasers are very strong. The wavelengths are in sync with each other. So they're very good for surgery, for cutting, for killing things, but they're not optimal for healing things. They will work, but they're not as effective as LEDs, and there's a very high risk of harming yourself if you do an overdose of a treatment, whereas with LEDs you can't overdose.
That's fascinating. Now, you talked about coherence and lack of coherence. Let's talk about that in terms of a person. I mean, first of all, I know personally from experience that we all emit light, right? Living things emit light. What do you call that light?
Well, that's what's called biophotonic light. Okay. So bio means living, and photons mean particle or wavelengths of light or packets of light energy. Right. So it's basically living light energy as opposed to light energy from an artificial light source.
Okay. So you were talking about lack of coherence in the light that we get exposed to is important for us. What about coherence and lack of coherence in our biophotonic light that surrounds a person or emanates from a person?
So So there's a guy, his name is Dr. Fritz Albert Popp. In the 1970s, he started doing research about this living light that we all emit. And he found that we actually take in, store, and utilize wavelengths of light, just like plants do. You wouldn't think of taking a plant and sticking it in a dark room and assuming that it's going to survive. It can live off certain wavelengths of artificial light, but it really will thrive if you put it under natural sunlight or something as close as possible to natural sunlight.
Right.
So humans are the same thing. We need those wavelengths of light. We need them to, again, live and thrive. And when we take in non-coherent light, like sunlight, all of this goes back to evolution. So when we take in those different colored wavelengths of non-coherent light, a healthy body will take them in, store them, use them for communication, cellular communication, and we emit coherent light. So we take in non-coherent light and we turn it into coherent light, which is like we turn the sunlight into laser light in our body. So a healthy body is like a living laser. But that's why you don't want to take in laser light, because your body's like, it can too easily overdose on that. That may sound like science fiction to a lot of people, and to really get into explaining it thoroughly, you need to understand quantum physics and how our bodies aren't just a bunch of chemicals. We actually, Western medicine views our bodies as a bunch of chemicals and molecules and that sort of thing, and cellular processes happen by things just bumping around randomly. But Dr. Fritz Albert Popp has shown that we actually use light for instantaneous speed of light cellular communication, just like plants. And they've actually proven this now in plants, that plants have these little storehouses where they keep the light, photons of light, and then the plant can respond instantaneously if it starts getting scorching hot, or if it gets really cold, or wind blows up, and they can respond instantly to any kind of climatic change. And a healthy body will be able to do the same thing. And again, a healthy body emits coherent light. An unhealthy body will emit a lot of non-coherent light. It's a little bit complicated to just explain without pictures to go with this.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about incoherent light and what the effects of some of this biophotonic light therapy can be. More with Leanne Vanier here in just a few moments.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night out.
I'm Christine Upchurch, and this is a Stellar Reflections Minute. For centuries, spiritual traditions have talked about how humans have an energy field, or aura, surrounding them. Although skeptical scientists refuted this for decades, science is now beginning to catch up with spirituality. Scientists can actually measure light emanating from living beings, so they can measure the human aura, which in scientific terms is known as the biofield. Many medical practitioners around the world use an instrument to evaluate a patient's biofield for the purpose of diagnosing illness. They understand that imbalanced or insufficient light in a person's energy field indicates a physical or emotional problem. The good news? There are ways to balance and increase your light, resulting in greater well-being. For more information, please check out stellarreflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
Have you ever wanted to learn about the colors of your chakras? Well, now's your chance. Lynn Brown, host of Get Into It, is hosting an event Friday, November 4th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. in Mount Vernon. Every person will get a reading on the most prominent color in their aura. Join Lynn Brown November 4th at the Riverwalk Studio in Mount Vernon. To register for this event, call 360-588-4713. That's 360-588-4713.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
When the lights go down in the city and the sun shines on the bay.
Welcome back to the Christine Upchurch Show here on KKNW, WBLQ, 35 stations in Australia, and, of course, Transformation Talk Radio. Oh, Benny, I just love that song.
I'm glad. I'll have to make a little note of that.
And the sun shines on the bay.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, it'd be nice to have that right now.
Yeah, it would be.
We have a little bit of a bay. Kind of.
We do. Well, it's the sunshine bee. You know,
right. That's
I'm asking
right,
for at this point. But yes, this is Seattle. What can we expect? Today I'm talking with award-winning artist, scientist Leanne Vanier, and we are talking about biophotonic light therapy. Now, I've seen some of the photos of the effects that this can have on things like skin conditions and aging. This is really exciting, Leanne. Tell us a little bit more about the science of using a certain type of light therapy to affect change in different types of healing.
Okay, so basically, anytime that you're dealing with red or near infrared wavelengths of light, and red is the most effective for any kind of skin or muscle type healing, for boosting or anti-aging effects, different wavelengths of red light. But what again is happening, it's going in, shining into the cell, stimulating the mitochondria in the cell. So it's all because of the mitochondria.
Uh-huh.
It's a much more complex cascade mechanism. There's this photoreceptor chromo 4 called cytochrome C oxidase. But again, most people don't want to know about all the behind the scenes stuff. But basically, it's stimulating the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cells, to kick into gear, to regenerate, to create energy, so you can do things like heal wounds more quickly, heal bones more quickly. But you can also get it to produce more collagen in your skin, so you can get rid of wrinkles. And just
Wait a second. Get rid of wrinkles.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of the magic one. And there have been a lot of spas that have been, they sell very expensive red light therapy treatments. You can spend $300 going to a spa. Some of them are using lasers, which if you've ever seen a woman who's gone to a spa for a red light laser treatment, and I can't remember what they call them, but they've often overdone it, and you see the woman come out and she looks like she's got a really terrible sunburn. And
yes, I've seen that.
She doesn't want to show her face for several days.
Right.
You don't need to do it that aggressively. You can do it much more gently and much more effectively by, again, using LED lights. And again, there are specific wavelengths of red light that are very powerful. And I started making blends of wavelengths of red light, which act even faster than just isolating single wavelengths.
And so you're talking about wrinkles, but one of the photos I've seen was a woman who had lots and lots of freckles. And then what she looked like after she went through, I don't know how long, she was in the
I think it was an 8-week treatment. So hyperpigmentation is what the common name is. So freckles, whether it's freckles, age spots, liver spots, anytime where the body has that excess amount of pigment in certain spots. So red light is very good for getting rid of that as well. And it's going in and, again, it's increasing the cellular renewal, and it does something where it reduces the amount of melanin or the pigment that's in the skin. So you get a whitening and a brightening effect in the skin. And I've used that myself. Like I had, over my décolletage or whatever you call it.
Right.
So I got sunburned when I was a teenager, and I had really bad, sunspots that from just photo aging over the years and on the tops of my shoulders, and it's pretty much gone just from using my combination light.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're using the light, how long does it take? I mean, like for one session?
Oh, well, if you're using it for any kind of skin condition, and it's not just for anti-aging, it works for things like psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, things that are itchy and inflamed. I have pictures on my website on my catalytic color .com/Upchurch page if people want to go there and look at that, or also leannebeignet.com/Upchurch, whichever is easier for people to spell. But yeah, so you can use it for all kinds of skin conditions, and that takes 1 to 3 minutes. So for one treatment, it's like 1 to 3 minutes.
Wow, that's like brushing your teeth. That's no longer than it takes to brush your teeth.
Exactly, and where you see really, really fast response, because keep in mind when you're boosting collagen, the collagen gets grown or produced from underneath the skin. So it has to take the time to build up and then push out. So you'll start noticing like a plumping effect, but it really, for full-on getting rid of like dramatic wrinkles, it takes about 12 weeks. But 1 to 3 minutes a day. And if you can get even faster results if you do two 1 to 3 minute treatments a day. But as far as something like eczema, and I've done a lot of case studies myself and I've had some even during the conference a couple weekends ago where people were coming in doing these mini treatments and then coming back the next day. Like there's one woman, she had this inflamed, itching, large infected area on her wrist, which stemmed from contact dermatitis, which she was constantly getting on her hands. But this particular wound was not healing for months and months. And she came to my booth, and she took her hand and she put it underneath the blue and red combo light, because the blue light will kill the bacteria. If she didn't have any kind of infection, she would have been good with just the red. But anyway, so she put it underneath there for like less than 2 minutes. She was sure it was less than 2 minutes. She came back the next day and she showed me her wrist, and she said, "Oh my God, I woke up this morning and I couldn't believe my eyes, because that wound, which had been open and oozing and itching me and driving me insane for months, had formed a scab over it, and it was already like about halfway healed." So I took a picture. Yeah, I took a picture at that point, and what was happening, the reason that it kept getting infected and inflamed, but it was itchy because of the dermatitis. But apparently what she was doing, she was able to avoid scratching her, the wound during the day. It would drive her nuts, and it was making her really anxious. She would manage to avoid scratching it during the day, but at night she was chewing on it. And so the saliva from her mouth was kept infecting it, and her boyfriend actually took a photo of her, and she said, "I don't understand why this particular one on my wrist will never heal." He said, and he took a photo of her that night. He said, "Here, this is why, because you suck on it and you chew it every night." But anyway, so she came back the next day and she showed me, so I took a photo of that, and then the next day after that, and so this is now 72 hours after her treatment, she sent me a new photo of her wrist. So it's completely healed. You can barely even see that there's anything there. And I have photos on that page if people want to go look at that at the bottom of the page.
Yeah,
so
that's exciting.
It's something like that. And again, I have my next door neighbor came home a few months ago, and she had a patch of eczema that had flared up on her foot that week. And and she had been diagnosed by a doctor years ago. And they said, "It's just eczema. You have to live with it." And she said it would, show up every once in a while, and she just would have to wait for weeks for it to go away.
Right.
And it had been getting worse that week. She shows me her foot, and so I take a picture. And I'm like, "Here, let's do it." I'm like, "Here, take one of my lights. Go do a treatment right now for 3 minutes." So I'm like, and then do another one before you go to bed tonight. So she goes into her home. She does a treatment. She comes out a few minutes later. She's like, the itching stopped immediately. It had been driving her crazy that day so bad that she could not get any work done. It was itching her that much. And it was all inflamed, and it actually had two open cut marks, where it was it was so irritated it was coming. I don't know.
Right. Oh yeah. I've seen eczema firsthand with one of my kids, and it's miserable because the skin keeps splitting open.
Yeah, and it's burny and itchy and very miserable. So anyway, she used it, and she said it stopped itching immediately. And then so the next day I said, "Okay, use it again tonight and first thing in the morning, 3 minutes." She came home, this is now 24 hours later. She comes home. It's like, oh, my God, the thing was healed over, like it had like a layer of dead skin on it now. So it was completely, she's like, it's healing so fast. Like I didn't even notice it was there at all today. And then within a few days it had completely healed.
So with something like this, it's more than just boosting the collagen. What else is going on with this healing process based on the light?
Well, it all boils down to, in the case of red and near-infrared light, it has to do with the mitochondria of the cell. So that is such a hugely important aspect of the cell. You're basically the powerhouse of the cell. So, think of yourself, if you wake up in the morning and you have absolutely no energy, are you going to get any work done that day?
Right.
No, probably not. So it's like the cells they have a lot of jobs to do. And if the mitochondria, the power in the cells is not doing what it's supposed to, it won't be able to do any of its tasks. So by shining red light, and again, when we spent time out in healing sunlight, when we, used to work the land, it's only been in the last, 100 years maybe that people have started being indoors so much.
Right.
Maybe not even that much. So we used to get all of these healing wavelengths whenever we were out under sunlight. So now, you hear about all these people dying from heart disease and cancer and all sorts of things. Oh, and by the way, regarding cancer, there's a study that was done that shows that people who are outdoor workers have a much lower risk of getting melanoma, which is skin cancer.
Really?
That's what he's terrified of.
That's interesting. So how did the scientific perspective ever get the opposite direction, if that's really the case?
Okay, wait, what?
Well, I'm sorry, that was a weird way of asking it. Why has science been saying the opposite, that it's the sun exposure that causes melanoma?
Okay, the science hasn't the opposite. That's not science that's talking. It's kind of like, people saying, well, the scientists say global warming isn't a reality. It's like, no, scientists aren't saying that. So if you think about, big pharma, the pharmaceutical and the Western medical industry is driven by profits. It's all about making money. And where do you make more money? You make money by getting people to take pills, and you get money by doing a lot of unnecessary surgeries. So if there is something out there that is free, literally free, it does not cost you a dime to go and get healing sunshine, and they start telling people about that, do you think they're going to be as profitable when people are, like getting cancer and getting all kinds of diseases and getting eczema and all sorts of things? So there is a vested interest in keeping people in the dark, so to speak.
Yeah, and I get that, but I'm sort of fascinated by this concept of sunshine, sunlight, UV light being associated with preventing melanoma as opposed to causing it, because that's the opposite of what has been known for so long or accepted for so long.
One of the things that has been very prevalent in the media recently for the last, at least 2 years, 3 years, is the effect of vitamin D from getting UVB.
Yes.
So now everybody's like, oh, okay, so UVB, we need UVB to get vitamin D. And by the way, vitamin D is a hormone. It's not a vitamin. It's a very important hormone. It's just as important as melatonin in the body. So, and if you have low vitamin D levels, you are going to get cancer and have all kinds of illnesses. And again, it's just pretty much everything has been tied with low vitamin D levels. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, it's like if you have low vitamin D levels, your health is suffering. Period. Right. So a lot of people think that, well, I can just take supplemental vitamin D and I can take the liquid form. And you can do that. And most people really should be doing that, because you need to be getting sunshine during the months when the sun is high enough in the sky that you can get enough UVB for your skin to produce vitamin D.
Yeah.
And again, but most people are going out when the few times that they are under sunlight, they're putting on sunscreen. That blocks the UVB. You will not be getting any vitamin D production.
Yeah. We have to go to another quick break, but when we return, I've got some exciting news. Leanne is going to be giving listeners of this show a special discount for this light therapy device, which we're going to talk more about when we return here in just a few moments.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Brighter than a
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns and certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
Brand consultant and coach Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're a person with a dream and unsure where to start, or a CEO of a successful company wondering what's next, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empowers you to play to your strengths and focus your competitive edge so you can show up in the world as your most powerful brand. Go to jenmorgan.com or call 206-972-5366.
I'm Christine Upchurch, and this is a Stellar Reflections Minute. What does the word healing mean? Many think that healing merely means eliminating symptoms. However, based on my many years as a healer, I have a much broader perspective on the word. Healing can manifest in a variety of ways, including having physical problems resolved, becoming more emotionally centered, experiencing better relationships, gaining greater clarity, and feeling more spiritually connected. True healing always includes some level of transformation. Whatever form healing takes, there is one commonality, an improvement in quality of life. To me, the highest form of healing goes beyond aligning with wellness. It comes from recognizing our soul's voice and allowing it to speak through us. And in that sense, don't we all yearn to heal into our wholeness? Please visit stellarreflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
Would you like to experience life-transforming adventures in personal expansion and world service? If you do, tune in to learn about magical innate abilities that you can develop and use to make your dreams come true. Joy Elaine is author of the Joy Chronicles, and she's inviting you and millions of others to join her in working with galactic masters, angels, and the Ashtar Command as they assist humanity and planet Earth to achieve their ultimate destination of ascension. For more information about this upcoming event and broadcast, visit joyelaine.com. That's joy, ELAINE.com.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.
Welcome back to the Christine Upchurch Show, and thank Mr. Benny Mathers for that wonderful selection. I just love the music you come up with.
Thanks.
It's always pertinent, Benny.
I would hope so. Well, I'm about 9 out of 10.
So, Leanne, I'm really excited about the science behind this, and I know I personally know more about the science because I've gotten to explore this further than we can go in just the course of an hour.
I know.
Can you talk a little bit more about the device itself that you're personally creating, you've been creating, and that you use and other people are using now to heal?
Yeah, so this is something I just did the public launch on a small scale while I was at this conference 2 weekends ago. So I spoke to about 2,000 people, and I was bombarded with people wanting to order these. You can't even see photos of that. So the device itself, it's an LED light panel in my own custom formulation. So I'm taking different wavelengths of light that I have discovered not only through reading literally thousands of medical research studies, but from doing my own research and my own ongoing studies. So there are 4 different panels. They're 1 foot by 1 foot, so they're big. They cover a large surface area. I I got very frustrated because I've spent literally thousands of dollars over the last several years buying all kinds of red light therapy devices, anti-aging, for all kinds of different applications, and every single one of them had major shortcomings. Either the light wasn't strong enough, or it covered a very tiny surface area, or the lights would burn out very quickly, or, I mean, it was just like on and on and on. And a lot of them weren't in the right wave, the most effective wavelength.
Right.
And these things were costing, you know, several hundred to several $1,000s. And I've had so many people who've emailed me and said, oh, I bought this $8,000 light therapy device. Is it okay? Is it good? I'm like,
wow.
Well, it'll work, and it covers a very tiny surface area. So, you know, factor in the fact that you're going to have to take an hour every day to do your light therapy treatment. And did you have to spend $8,000 on it? Absolutely not.
Wow.
So anyway, so I wanted to make something that was going to cover a large surface area, that was going to be very powerful, that was also going to be in the synergistic blends of wavelengths that I've come up with, and be very affordable so that people can use it for themselves and their whole family. And, you know, for the cost of, you know, what people spend on going to get Starbucks coffee every day, you factor that in over a year. And these things have a 2-year warranty. And they're built to last. They're very well built, but they're also lightweight. They don't get hot. So all of the shortcomings, again, a lot of LED lights out there, they're very inefficient. They're cheap diodes. They get very hot. They overheat. They burn out. They can burn you if you're using them on your skin.
Wow.
So I wanted very strong power, and but also that won't harm you in any way. But
so they're safe to look at with open eyes then.
Yeah, red and near infrared you can definitely use with, well, they're pretty bright. Most people are not going to want to look directly into them, but you can just close your eyes.
Okay.
But they won't harm your eyes. But all the research shows that red and near infrared will not harm your eyes. But blue light, however, and I have warnings on this because I give out a free my book. It's like a $15 book, and I give that with everybody who buys one of the lights. So blue light, you never want to shine that directly into your eyes, or green light.
Oh, that's interesting.
So those actually, strong blue light can harm your eyes, as can green light. So you don't, that's why, you know, blue light therapy devices like the Philips Go Light Blue, which is designed for resetting your circadian rhythm, which I personally use myself, and I love it, and I'm not interested in creating a new product because they're doing a perfectly good job with the one that they already have on the market for $75.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, it's a tiny little thing that sits on your desktop, so you never shine it directly into your eyes. So it's just far away from you, and then it shines. But these are big red and near infrared. Well, you can see on my website if people go there, and the red and blue combo, which is specifically for antibacterial, for MRSA, for any kind of infection, for acne, very, very effective for acne.
That's exciting.
If there's acne, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the red combo one is really fast for, the anti-aging benefits.
Yeah. And you have to know, on this show, we rarely promote any particular product. Yes, we promote people, the information, but it's rare that I really support a particular product. And I think the world of Leanne, and I'm really excited about this. I am going to order one as well. And the way you can get a discount, I think it's for the next 2 days, what is it, $200 off?
Yep, $200 off.
Yeah.
Today and tomorrow.
Go to catalyticcolor.com/Upchurch. So / tilting to the right. So catalyticcolor.com/Upchurch. And it's also going to be on the Leanne Vanier radio show page on my website when I post the show later today. So go to ChristineUpchurch.com and then click on my radio show page. You'll see a picture of beautiful Leanne, and click on that, and you'll find your way to this link. Leanne, the time has flown by. It always does when I talk to you. And
oh my God. I can't believe it's over.
I know. We need 2 or 3 hours. But, I'm so excited about sort of watching the path that you've been taking in your career. And this feels like you are doing something that's really going to benefit very, very many people.
Yeah, well, and finally, because I've been doing this teaching for over 6 years, and it was all funded by my artwork sales, and everybody kept, can you just design your own? And I'm like, oh, all right, finally, I will. I'll create my own. It'll be better than anything else out there, and more affordable.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us here today. I really appreciate it. And
thank you.
And thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, Chris. Always love interviewing with you.
Oh, great. And, I also thank you for joining us here today because we do this show to help you shift into your, highest version of yourself. And I look forward to talking to you again sometime soon. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey. Each week, this show engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about the transformative healing work of Christine, visit www.stellarreflections.com. And for weekly topics, visit www.transformationtalkradio.com.